Robert Guerrero, 36 years of age, with the 1-inch height advantage and a slight reach advantage on Jerry Thomas. Guerrero turned pro 18 years ago. Thomas 10 years ago. At the age of 20, Thomas fighting outside either Kansas or Missouri for the first time in his professional career. Robert the Ghost Guerrero from Gilroy, California, getting set to face Jerry Thomas. To the ring we go, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, from Staples Center in Los Angeles, Premier Boxing Champions presents our Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view prelim featured attraction of the evening, brought to you by MGM Resorts and Brooklyn Boxing. Judging at ringside for this bout, we have Kermit Bayless, Eddie Hernandez Sr., and Steve Morrow. All right, fans, here we go. 10 rounds of boxing in a welterweight special attraction. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks and hailing from St. Mary's, Kansas. He weighed in at 146 1/2 pounds with a fine record of 14 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw. He has 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Jerry Thomas. His opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner in this 10-round attraction, wearing red trunks with white trim, proudly fighting out of and representing Gilroy, California. He weighed in at 146 3/4 pounds. His record, 35 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw, with 20 wins coming by way of knockout. A veteran of 9 world title appearances. Please welcome the former featherweight and 2-time super featherweight champion of the world, introducing Robert the Ghost Guerrero. And our referee in charge of the action now to give instructions, Gerard White.
Chief seconds only. Okay, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. You know what I expect out of you. The trunks are good here. The trunks are good here. Keep your punches in front, touch them up. Let's go to work.
California rules, no 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell except for the final round. Only the referee and doctor can stop the fight. No decision if an accidental foul stops the fight before 4 rounds. Robert the Ghost Guerrero. At 35-6-1, he's fought so many of the big names, Lennox and Joe, in the sport of boxing. Went the distance with Floyd Mayweather back in 2013.
Well, not only Floyd Mayweather went the distance with our friend Keith Thurman up in the booth right there. And look, I've known Robert for 20 years. He signed with our organization back in 2001. And I know him intimately in his corner and his family, and he's a really talented southpaw. He's 36 years old, though. So 20 years have basically passed since he entered my gym.
His opponent, Jerry Thomas, 30 years of age, fighting for the first time in over a year. He was scheduled to fight in March. As we mentioned, this is his first fight outside of his home state of Kansas or Kansas City, Missouri. All 16 of his pro bouts took place in those 2 states in the Midwest.
And Thomas said that he's going to actually give a lot of movement to Guerrero in this fight. So he's definitely started that, and he's looking quite good right now. The main thing is not getting hit in this first round and warming up.
Scheduled for 10 of the welterweight division. Robert Guerrero fighting for the 5th time here at Staples Center. He's won 3 of the previous 4 bouts in this building.
So, you know, the crowd's getting a little upset that there's not a lot of action here. It's not a 4-round fight. It's not a 6-round fight. This is a 10-round fight. And Robert Guerrero has been down this road many, many times, and he's fought the best of the best. And he's not going to rush into anything and get clipped from some awkward punch from Jerry Thomas. So he's going to bide his time, and he's going to look to land some solid stuff when the openings appear after he feels Jerry Thomas out for a little bit.
And you can tell Guerrero has the composure because he's taking his time. You know, he's warming up like he should.
Oh, nice left by Guerrero.
You saw Thomas ran in basically with his head, and that was a little bit dangerous move for Guerrero, having a guy run in with his head like that. But Guerrero stepped back and threw a nice left uppercut to the belly and landed it. And now we're starting to get on track right here. He's starting to put his hands on Jerry Thomas. Not a lot, but he's starting to get the range, put the jab out there and a hook every so often. This is only the first round.
And Thomas is doing, like I said, he's moving well. He just turned southpaw, which is a surprise. Trying to give Guerrero different looks and seeing what he can catch him with.
Again, Thomas came in real low with that head. And Guerrero, being the veteran he is, he knew how to put the forearm out and stop him in his tracks. So, you know, Guerrero, again, he's going to let the kid shoot with the steam off. When I say kid, I mean Jerry Thomas.
6 years younger than Robert Guerrero as time winds down here in round 1 in Los Angeles. Tonight, champ versus champ. Errol the Truth Spence, Sean Porter in a World Championship unification bout here at Staples Center. Plus champion Anthony Durrell defends his title against David Benavides. That's tonight, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view or order now on the Fox Sports app. Kenny Albert, Lennox Lewis, Joe Goosen from Staples Center. This is round 2, scheduled for 10 on FS1. Robert the Ghost Guerrero, Jerry Thomas. Not many punches landed so far, guys.
Well, he finally landed one right there against the ropes. He jumped in with a straight right hand, and it touched Guerrero on the face. And, you know, I got to give Jerry Thomas credit. He's pretty athletic in there. He's never been on the big stage. Probably really never fought outside the Midwest. But yet, here he is on the big stage, Staples Center, on a night like this. And he's coming to fight. He's not just being here to get hit and knocked out or knocked down. He's really trying to win this fight, at least in the first couple of rounds. We'll see what happens when he starts getting hit more.
Jerry Thomas started by training for MMA, lasted only a couple of weeks, said he was kicked in the head too many times. Bought his first pair of boxing gloves, he told us, at Dick's Sporting Goods, and the rest is history. This is 17th pro bout.
Jerry Thomas has to be careful when he comes in because, you know, sometimes he's coming in straight and sometimes he's running in. So he may get caught sometimes when he's running in, so he has to be careful.
Absolutely. And in the same vein, I mean, look, Robert Guerrero's got to be careful as well because he could actually be headbutting, you know, a guy coming in that quickly, jumping in like that. Especially, you know, southpaws and right-handers, you know, there's a lot of awkward angles that come during the course of a fight between the two, so you got to be very careful. See right there was almost a clash of heads right there coming in again.
Jerry Thomas trained 5 weeks for this fight. What does he do when he's not in training? He designs shower doors. He takes orders and measurements back home in Kansas, and he tells us he will return to work early this week.
I think he said Monday. Kenny?
He's flying home Monday, back to work Tuesday morning.
All right, there you go. That's a dedicated worker.
Yep, we don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Nice jab by Guerrero.
Guerrero's doing a good job with cutting off the ring right now, and that's what he's supposed to be doing. With movers like this, cut off the ring slowly. You know, they'll slow down as the round goes, and that's when you take advantage of it. But he's doing the right things, punching into the body, into the head.
Flurry of action as time winds down in round 2 here in Los Angeles. Welcome back. A look at Robert the Ghost Guerrero as we get set for round 3, scheduled for 10. And Joe, you mentioned earlier that you worked with Robert back in the day, and you said he never forgot a thing that you taught him, almost like he has a photographic memory.
No, he really did. In fact, I use him as an example to a lot of people at the gym. I go, why do I have to keep showing this to you over and over again? I had a kid, Robert Guerrero, I showed him one time, and he never forgot it. He really was, and that was a good left hand he just landed on Jerry Thomas. But yeah, I even asked him, do you have a photographic memory? He concurred. Yeah, he said, yeah, I really do. So and that's why he did so well in this game. He's a very studious guy, and he learns his lessons. And now he's actually trying to carry out what his dad in the corner said, Ruben. He said the kid's coming in. Well, just almost landed a little low there. He said the kid, Jerry Thomas, is coming in low with his head. I want you to step back and use that left uppercut and catch him coming in. So it's kind of what we pointed out earlier. Jerry Thomas is coming in hard and fast and with his head. And his dad does not want Robert to get caught with a headbutt there, so he's telling him to step back and then use the uppercut.
Yeah, Jerry Thomas, he's doing a lot of work. He's getting himself tired, but he's not doing anything to Guerrero. And eventually, he's going to get caught coming in.
Thomas has landed only 6 punches to this point. Joe Guerrero told us he still uses many of the drills that you taught him close to 2 decades ago.
Well, and I appreciate that. That was nice of him to mention that. But you know, it's not like I invented something special. It's stuff that I've learned over the decades from the best fighters. I study the great fighters of all time, and I try to implement the tactics that I learned. And sometimes I've been very successful with them, and I like to pass them on to the young guys. But of course, there's nothing like being in the ring. You learn your own things too as you go along. You can be taught by your trainer, but then just through having fights, you're going to learn other things as well. But he's an all-around accomplished fighter.
Final minute, round 3, scheduled for 10 in the welterweight division. Main event on pay-per-view later tonight. Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter. Following David Benavides, Anthony Guerrero connected on Thomas. And now the referee, Gerard White, will step in between the fighters.
Yeah, Thomas got spun around there. I don't know if it was by the punch or the momentum, but he spun around. He didn't look like he got hurt, but it still was an awkward, rather unique move.
Well, his balance isn't that good because he's all over the place. His 1 second is southpaw, next second is orthodox, and he has to decide on what he wants to do before he does it.
Well, it's week 4 in the National Football League. Tomorrow, a full slate of action highlighted by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs taking on Matthew Stafford and the Lions. Some of you will see the Panthers and the Texans. Check local listings for the game in your area or watch it on the Fox Sports app. Now, Joe, before you were training fighters such as Robert Guerrero, you were playing high school football back in 1970 for Grant High School.
Yeah. What is going on there with that helmet?
Well, those are the old bubble helmets from yesteryear, and you notice the face mask. We didn't have the big cages back then either. Yeah, and that was Verdugo High. We lost that game.
Yeah, you got a little alfalfa going on right there.
Right. Number 86, Joe Goosen.
Let's look at that bubblehead again. There it is. My God.
Not a very safe helmet, I can tell you, by today's standards.
Looks like you had a lot of padding in there. Was that your
No, there was no padding in there. It was all like suspension straps.
Oh,
it was actually very dangerous. They wouldn't wear those today. No way.
Rams home tomorrow here in Los Angeles. And here Boom Boom Mancini may be heading over to the Coliseum for the Rams and Buccaneers tomorrow. This is round 4, scheduled for 10. Robert the Ghost Guerrero in the red trunks, former 2-division, 3-time world champ. He owned featherweight and super featherweight belts. Retired in July of 2017. Made his return and stopped his last 2 opponents.
Jerry Thomas is a very awkward guy, and I'm telling you, if he wasn't so awkward, Robert Guerrero would probably have him out by now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, he's Guerrero's starting to pick up the pace a little bit. He wants to knock him out. You can tell he's like, a little bummed out that Jerry Thomas is still in front of him.
I'm surprised he's not frustrated yet. Did he used to get frustrated when you had him in the ring?
No. Who? Robert Guerrero?
Yeah.
Never.
Good.
No. He's steady as she goes. He's really he's got a great head on his shoulders. He's a very smart kid, and look, he's trying to pick apart Jerry Thomas right now, break him down slowly. He's done a lot of body work, just like that right there. You can tell Thomas's body is completely red from front to back, along with the shoulders. So, Guerrero's starting to get to him a little bit, but he hasn't really caught him hard on the chin yet to really buzz him.
Well, on the other side, Thomas said, leading up to this fight, I'm expected to lose, but I'm not going to. I expect to win. And he also said it's surreal to fight a guy like Robert Guerrero. He's a warrior.
Well, the last name Guerrero means warrior, so he's right about that. But
What should Thomas be doing? Because
well, he's doing probably the best he can right now, to tell you the truth, Lennox. He's never fought this type of competition before. I'm surprised he's actually doing as well, surviving and not getting pummeled like I think a lot of guys in a situation would be right now against somebody like Guerrero. So I give him a lot of credit, to tell you the truth.
I mean, I would hope that he could get in there and score some more points. Once he gets in there, he's not scoring no points. He's not giving any punches to Guerrero to worry about.
He doesn't have anywhere near the experience Guerrero has. Guerrero knows how to stymie that, smother it, slip it, block it, and so he just doesn't have the experience to work on the inside in the same capacity as Guerrero does.
And Guerrero did expect this awkward style in watching Thomas. He said he's raw, he's off balance at times, throws some wild haymakers. And Thomas has hung in there over the first 4 rounds here in Los Angeles.
All right, here we go. Now, there's a football player. You actually look damn good in that outfit there. Look how big you are next to the other guys. There's Lennox Lewis, who played high school football for, what was the name of your school?
Cameron Heights.
Collegiate.
Right, Golden Gales.
Now see, that's a helmet.
That's a straight arm right there, baby.
Right. No, you look good.
North of the border in Kitchener, Ontario.
I would have hated to have actually tried to make a tackle on you. You look like a big boy back then, huh?
Yeah.
What'd you weigh?
About 147.
No, you were bigger than that.
Absolutely.
Were you really 147?
Yeah, when I fell for 3 yards.
Sean Porter and Errol Spence both played high school football. In fact, Porter, from the same high school as Hall of Famer Larry Zonko, tied his record with 5 touchdowns in 1 high school game.
That's unbelievable, because Larry Zonko was a great, big, strong running back for the Miami Dolphins, and was one of my favorite running backs, along with Jim Kick in the backfield, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So Sean Porter from the same high school as Larry Zonka. And a great success. Errol Spence Jr. played high school football down in Texas. As a huge Dallas Cowboys fan.
What was Miami's record that year?
Perfect.
Exactly.
14-0.
Has that been done again?
Not so this year. They might go the other direction.
Right.
And not yet won a game. This is round 5. Scheduled for 10. Kenny Albert, Lennox Lewis, Joe Goosen from Staples Center, Robert the Ghost Guerrero, Jerry Thomas. You see the numbers. Thomas has landed only 20 punches to this point. Guerrero, 46.
I mean, Thomas is starting to get a little bit of confidence here. He's, he's been hit with some good punches, so, he knows that Guerrero can hit. Guerrero's strong, but he's kind of absorbing it, and he's doing his best trying to win this fight. He's certainly not trying to win the fight, right?
Right, and Guerrero did some good movement right there. He's actually followed Thomas and did some of Thomas's moves against him.
And just before you said that, Thomas landed a straight right hand on Guerrero in the middle of the round. But I got to tell you, those body shots that Guerrero's throwing are starting to get to Thomas. You know, when he went back to his corner after the last round, he was taking deep breaths. Look at that. It was a right hand and a left uppercut to the belly that was really working.
One of the main reasons is he can't hit the head. So it makes sense to go to the body.
You're right about that. And maybe slow all of this hyper movement down from Thomas.
30 seconds remaining in round 5. You may have noticed Gilroy Strong on the trunks of Robert Guerrero. He's a native of Gilroy, California, and will donate a portion of tonight's purse to victims of the tragic mass shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival last July. Gilroy, the garlic capital of the world. And speaking of football, also the hometown of the longtime NFL quarterback, Jeff Garcia. Welcome back. A look at 30-year-old Jerry Thomas, fighting out of his hometown of St. Mary's, Kansas. This is round 6, scheduled for 10. Thomas has gone past 6 rounds only once in his professional career over his first 16 fights.
I think what Guerrero is doing right now, he has to really sustain. He's got to put pressure on this guy, I think, a little bit more. I know he could box him and counter him, but I got to tell you, if he wants to get him out of here and not let this guy go the distance, because it looks like he's in decent shape, Jerry Thomas. He's moving around. He's actually quite good at dodging big punches, except with the exception of the body. I think Guerrero's got to really attack him a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the double jab could help. You know, try and get him back to the ropes, pin him on the ropes, and then start to the body would be the perfect solution.
Let's check in with Marcos Villegas, our unofficial scorer. Marcos, how have you seen this one so far?
I've seen it all, Robert, the Ghost Guerrero up to this point, 50-45. I really like the body work that he's doing. He's mixing it up, scoring with the jab, scoring to the body. It's really refreshing to see him fight this way. He used to box when he was at the lighter weights, and then when he moved up, he would just steamroll through opponents. So it's good to see him do this now.
All right, thanks, Marcos. So Guerrero has won the first 5 rounds on Marcos' scorecard.
So there you go. Guerrero landed a great straight left hand, and Jerry Thomas took it and then acted like he got mad at him and came at him. So, and look, so again, you got to be careful with a guy like Thomas, not because of his skills, but because of his awkwardness. And there's another good left hand by Guerrero. His awkwardness that he could actually hurt you with his head, elbows, or anything else, because he's really not a stylish fighter.
No, I mean, and he doesn't really have that much power. He's not displaying the power to me. He's just running in, kind of pushing the shots out.
Well, that's what his corner said to him. They said, look, you got to stop, throwing the pitter-patter punches. You got to start really throwing some power punches against Guerrero. So,
well, that's the difference between professional and amateur. The power punches in the professional really count, and that's it's a different cup of tea than amateur.
Now, as a pro, he's got 14 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, and 8 knockouts. But again, it's the type of competition he's been fighting. So he has had pro fights, and he knows what's expected of him. But he's in there with a guy that's been a 3-time world champion.
Right, all of those fights, the first 16 coming in Kansas and Missouri. There's no place like home. But Jerry Thomas is out west in Los Angeles, fighting out of his comfort zone for the first time. Final seconds of round 6, scheduled for 10. Some notable welterweight unification bouts: 1981, Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns. And then in 99, Felix Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya. De La Hoya would lose a majority decision, and the two legends never resumed the rivalry with a rematch. 2015. 38-year-old Floyd Mayweather and 36-year-old Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather with a unanimous decision. And then in 2017, the guys on our set with Kate and Ray. WBC and WBA belts were on the line, with Keith Thurman coming out strong, hurting Danny Garcia in the first round, and Thurman would win a split decision in front of a record-breaking crowd in Brooklyn. Of course, it was Sugar Ray Leonard stopping Thomas Hearns in the 14th round back in 1981. And later tonight in our main event, Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter. Spence, the IBF champ, and Porter owns the WBC belt. And there's still time to order it on pay-per-view. Another championship bout as well. David Benavidez and Anthony Guerrero. Benavidez looking to win back his belt, which he won as a 20-year-old. Round 7 scheduled for 10. Robert the Ghost Guerrero in control. Jerry Thomas turned pro at the age of 19, 11 years ago. Only 16 pro bouts prior to this one. He's been out here in California after training for 5 weeks in both Topeka and Kansas City. Crowd getting a bit restless, guys.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any reason to. It's not like anybody's running away from a fight here. It's a bit of an awkward tactical fight on Jerry Thomas's part, but you know, they're both willing to fight. They're both standing right in the middle of the ring. They may be circling each other, but they've been throwing punches. So, I mean, I think the crowd may be anxious for the upcoming fights, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I know I am.
Me too. They just want to see action.
Well, and they're getting. This is more action than it's not. I mean, but again, we got an awkward fighter at Jerry Thomas here. We got a former 3-time champion that is really, you know, doing his best right now to contend with a guy that is being very difficult. Sometimes
very elusive.
Right. Isn't it sometimes it's easier to find a guy that's got good skills than not?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if I boxed a guy like that, I would be a little bit frustrated. I would try and get him up against the ropes. I would be setting some traps and throwing the same type of punches that he's throwing, obviously, to the belly and to the body, just to slow him down.
Now, have you ever fought anybody that you remember in your past where you went, he's not the best fighter, but he's so darn awkward that, you know, he ended up going rounds with you or the distance?
Oh yeah,
Name one.
Every boxer does that. I mean, I'm talking about early fights, like
Right. The guys, the no-name guys.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
20 seconds remaining in round 7. Kenny Albert, Lennox Lewis, Joe Goosen, Heidi Androl from Staples Center in Los Angeles. Robert the Ghost Guerrero, Jerry Thomas on FS1, our main event on pay-per-view later tonight. Errol Spence Jr. and Sean Porter. Lennox, what have you seen from Guerrero so far?
All right. Seen a lot of overhand lefts. Seen some good picking his shots to the body, trying to slow him down. Still going back to the body, which that's the only thing he can hit right now because his opponent's so elusive. Coming in with a straight right hand there. Straight left hand by Guerrero, hitting Thomas flush on the face.
Robert Guerrero, the former 2-division 3-time world champ. Third bout since coming back from retirement. Vacated his title back in 2010 when his wife Casey was undergoing her recovery from leukemia. Told us yesterday she's doing great. He said she's the real fighter. 3 kids. And Robert told us, to them, I'm just dad. They know what I do. Their friends talk about it, but I'm just dad. 2 daughters and a son.
Yeah, I've been in that situation where, you know, you come home and your kids don't know what you do, and then all of a sudden they see you on TV boxing a little later and they say to you, hey Dad, that's what you used to go off and do when you used to leave?
They finally figured it out?
Yeah.
Now you just go and talk about it. Look at the punches landed over the first 7 rounds. Scheduled for 10. Jerry Thomas fighting into the 8th round for only the 2nd time in his career. Went the distance with Danny O'Connor back in August of 2016 in Topeka, Kansas. Lost a split decision. But aside from that, has never gone more than 6 rounds.
Yeah, there's probably a little frustration from what I heard in the corner of Robert Guerrero's, from his father giving him instructions. Said, you better go back to boxing here. And, you know, look, I think there's probably frustration that they haven't been able to hurt, knock down, or stop Jerry Thomas in this fight.
Well, Robert Guerrero said he's been doing a lot of shadow boxing. He's come away from the normal type of training that he used to do, and he's concentrated more on the boxing. And this is, you can see it right now, he's boxing.
Well, let me ask you something. What do you think about getting away from sparring less and doing more shadow boxing? Do you think that would affect it, or did you like to do more sparring?
No, I like to do more sparring. I like to, sparring is a key for me. Shadow boxing you can do it anywhere, anytime.
Right.
But the sparring is what you really, learn from quick, because any mistakes you make, you get hit. That's a mistake, so you learn quick. So you realize, oh, I don't like getting hit like that, so I better spar it up.
Do you think because Robert Guerrero is 36 years old now that they want to limit the damage that might happen in the gym with too much sparring and say, hey, you know how to fight already, we'll work on the basics?
Yeah, I'm sure he's the type of guy in the gym that spars hard, and the guys that are sparring with him and trying to hurt him as well. And sometimes a lot of these fighters leave it all in the gym.
Yeah. So Joe, as a trainer for the viewers, how does shadow boxing help a fighter?
Well, look, Lennox said it right. You can shadow box anytime, anywhere, and it's part of the routine, on a daily routine normally. But I am of the old school, where I like to do a lot of
school of
sparring.
hard knocks.
Well, yeah. Well, but when you got a veteran like that, you want to bring in a little bit of an easier sparring for the older guys, because they already know how to fight. You don't need rough young sparring for a guy like Guerrero.
Guerrero, 36 years of age. As we head towards the 9th round, scheduled for 10, Guerrero and Jerry Thomas. What's impressed you, Lennox, about Jerry Thomas hanging in there against the veteran former champion Guerrero?
Yeah, I mean, he's using the younger legs. He's making sure he doesn't get hit, and he's trying to find some way to get in there. But when he gets in there, he's not doing anything. He's not scoring any points. He's not making it hard for Guerrero. Guerrero's still in the relaxed position. I don't see a shot that has really hit Guerrero with to really say, hey, okay, so Guerrero can actually put up his hands and say, I need to watch out for this fight. I haven't seen Thomas's power in there, but as far as Guerrero's doing, he's shadow boxing in there. This is what he's doing.
Yeah, but that's not the objective here. Look, he's got 2 fights on his comeback, 2 knockouts. I'm sure he wants another one. I don't think the corner wants him to go 10 rounds with Jerry Thomas from Kansas, okay?
What advice would you give Guerrero, Joe, if you were in his corner?
Well, I mean, aside from the technical advice I give, the bottom line would be, I want a knockout. Okay?
And that would not be a request.
No, that would be an order.
Jerry Thomas has landed only 7 punches over the last 3 rounds. This is round 9 coming up on pay-per-view. You can order now. The welterweight unification bout. Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter here at Staples Center.
Now, on the other hand, Kenny, I think Jerry Thomas, he's got nothing to lose. He's only got 2 rounds left, okay? He's got 6 minutes. Why not go for broke and try to do some damage against Guerrero right now?
Yeah, I mean, to come all this way and not try to knock his opponent out.
Well, I think Jerry's tried, but I think now he's got to take more chances at trying,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, let's check in once again with Marcos Villegas.
Kenny, I still have it 80-72, all Robert the Ghost Guerrero at this point, and I got to agree with Joe and Lennox. For Jerry Thomas, why not go in there and make it a brawl? You know that Robert at times does get a little wild when you will him into a brawl. He's always one that's up for a fight. Why not try to go ahead and do that and see if he can have some success there?
All right, thanks, Marcos. So Guerrero has won each of the first 8 rounds on Marcos' scorecard. 80-72 overall. Midway through round 9, scheduled for 10 here in Los Angeles.
See, Jerry Thomas makes it in there, and then all of a sudden he throws the punches. Well, he's doing the right thing right now. When he makes it in there, he's got to do the work.
Well, he's kind of, I don't know if you heard us, but, he actually is trying to do what we were just discussing. And I just saw a nice forearm land on Guerrero from Jerry Thomas.
So Thomas definitely taking the advice of Lennox and Joe here in round 9, and Marcos as well.
Yeah, and he's actually landing some short, crisp punches on Robert Guerrero.
Jerry's really come on there. This is what he should have been doing earlier. I mean, I hate guys that wait till that last rounds to do these things, and it's almost in desperation.
But he's probably landed more punches here in the 9th round than the last 4 or 5 rounds combined, perhaps the entire fight.
That is a great point. See, here's the problem, though, or not the problem, but the mindset of somebody like Jerry Thomas. They think if they were to start a fight and try to continue to do this throughout a fight, that they wouldn't last, that they'd punch themselves out.
Right, look at these numbers. 20 of his 52 punches landed here in round 9. Now he has Guerrero up against the ropes. Now Guerrero comes back with a left uppercut. 10 seconds remaining in round 9.
Thomas needs to move that head. He's got that head on one side. He needs to move it on the other side as well. Guerrero, being so experienced, will catch him.
The most action-packed sequence we have seen by far over the last minute of round 9.
Well, here we go. Here's Thomas just starting that brawling session that he did for the most of the 3 minutes of a round. And he snuck in a little right hook there, a little body shot, off of the body shot, a right uppercut. And he's backing Guerrero up. He's really, just kind of bowling him over right now. And Guerrero's playing a lot of defense here. He's won every round. But, Lennox,
here he's doing the same thing. There's no real power there. It's more pity patter stuff. Guerrero smiles. He loves this type of fight. He likes to rough it up a little bit.
Yeah, just think if Jerry Thomas would have put 5 of those rounds in the bank.
Yeah, it would have been a different fight.
43% of the punches landed by Thomas came in round 9. How about this, guys? Robert Guerrero, over the last 3 years coming into this bout, 10 total rounds. And now they are into the 10th here tonight.
And I think that's a surprise, to tell you the truth. But I have to say, I think Jerry Thomas won the 9th round.
I would agree. After Guerrero won the first 8 on the scorecard of Marcos Villegas, and Thomas continues to attack here in round 10.
Yeah, this type of style is really, there's a no-win situation. Unless you're a really one-punch knockout, with one-punch knockout power that you can really hurt a guy like this. Here goes Guerrero now. He's going to turn the tables on Jerry Thomas. Oh boy, they just butted heads real bad in there.
Yeah, this is where Guerrero has to be careful, because you don't want to get head-butted in the last round.
No, exactly. That takes months to heal. You're out of the game for a while, and Guerrero just got hit with another straight right hand right there. But I don't, like I said, looks like it's obviously going to go the distance for 10 rounds here. But
Guerrero's doing the right thing, jabbing, keeping him away, watching out for that. He's almost like a matador, throwing that jab out there, keeping that right hand out there.
I think that kind of tells us, though, that Robert Guerrero is content just to finish this fight with a decision, because he's not going to stop Jerry Thomas, it doesn't look like.
Guerrero knows he has things under control midway through this 10th and final round.
Guerrero would really have to turn it on and land a succession of punches right on the chin to stop Jerry Thomas.
Body punch.
He's been landing body shots all night on him, and it hasn't slowed him down, to tell you the truth. I think, Jerry Thomas has protected his chin very well tonight. He hasn't gotten hit with
That's because he kept his chin down.
Chin down. I think you were speaking Italian for a minute.
If he kept his chin up, he wouldn't be protecting it.
All right, final minute of this 10th and final round here in Los Angeles. The 3-time world champ, Robert Guerrero, taking it to the 10th. There's a left from Guerrero, stunning Thomas.
There it is. That could have been the start of something right there, but Thomas is responding. He's coming back. He landed his own hook coming out of that crouch, so Well, I'll tell you, this Jerry tell you wouldn't want to meet him in a street fight.
But if you need a new shower door, give him a call. He'll be back in the office on Tuesday.
Oh, good right hand off the counter.
Time winding down in the 10th and final round.
Good defense by Guerrero there. And that's the end of the fight.
So Guerrero and Thomas go the distance. A 10-round battle here at Staples Center. Jerry Thomas coming on strong over the last 2 rounds after Guerrero dominated. Time for the decision, Guerrero and Thomas to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judging ringside, Kermit Bayless scores about 98-92. Steve Morrow sees it 99-91. Agreeing, Eddie Hernandez Sr. scores it 99-91. All three in favor of the winner, Robert the Ghost Guerrero.